Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's DinaKalmeta here, and for today's news, I do have a few updates I'd like to bring to you, and I also want to let you know that there will be an extended version to this show on my Rumble channel, due to the fact there are some things I just cannot say on YouTube. So when you have a free moment, come on over to Rumble and subscribe so that you don't miss any headlines over there. So, with that said, let's get into the headlines. The Iranian foreign minister was on his way to meet with the Russian president, and the Russian president has told the Iranian foreign minister that Israeli and U.S. hostilities against Iran are groundless and unjustifiable. The top Iranian diplomat who landed in Moscow met with the Russian president said earlier that his visit was needed for closer, more precise, and more serious consultations with Russia in the wake of the U.S. strikes. During the meeting at the Kremlin, Putin described the attacks on Iran as an unprovoked aggression for which there can be no justification. He said that the actions of Israel and the U.S. are illegitimate and violate international norms. The Iranian foreign minister agreed with Putin's assessment, saying that Russia today stands on the right side of history and international law. The Russian president has also warned President Trump that he opened a Pandora's box with its attacks on Iran, and no one knows what consequences it will lead to. He also vowed to back Iran. What does that look like? We don't know yet. I did report yesterday that Medvedev had stated that other nations are willing to give Iran nuclear supplies. Now, there are 9 nuclear nations, so who of those nations are going to give Iran those supplies? Obviously not the US, and hopefully not anybody in Europe, but maybe Turkey. How about Pakistan? What about China? What about Russia? What about North Korea? So something to think about, you guys. In response to Medvedev, President Trump posted on his Truth Social, "Did I hear former President Medvedev from Russia casually throwing around the N-word and saying that he and other countries would supply nuclear warheads to Iran? Did he really say that? Or is it just a figment of my imagination? If he did say that, and if confirmed, please let me know immediately. The N-word should not be treated so casually. I guess that's why Putin's the boss. By the way, if anyone thinks our hardware was great over the weekend, far and away the strongest and best equipment we have. 20 years advanced over the pack is our nuclear submarines. They are the most powerful and lethal weapons ever built and just launched the 30 Tomahawks. All 30 hit their mark perfectly, so in addition to our great fighter pilots, thank you to the captain and crew." So earlier today, there was a range of headlines flying around in regards to Iran targeting U.S. bases in the Middle East. I want to say up front that nobody was injured, there were no casualties, and very little damage. Apparently, they fired 80 missiles today, but only managed to get off around 20. Iran had also warned the U.S. through 2 diplomatic channels hours before the attack. And as of right now, the United States is not expected to respond to Iran's failed attack. It's also been reported that Bahrain had closed its airspace. Qatar had obviously closed its airspace. Meanwhile, American fighter jets have taken off for Iran from their base in Saudi Arabia. Apparently, there were a coalition of jets intercepting the Iranian drones over Qatar, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and UAE airspaces. As of the timing of this recording, again, none of these missiles injured or hurt anybody. I think it was a way, as I'm looking at it right now, for Iran to save face. But we'll see what happens in the days and hours ahead. Right now, around 40,000 U.S. troops across the Middle East are on high alert. The United States has permanent military facilities in Bahrain, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. China has warned of a spillover as the conflict continues to escalate. The Chinese side urges the parties to the conflict to prevent a situation from escalating repeatedly, resolutely avoid the spillover, and return to the path of political resolution. They are maintaining their security and stability in the region, as it is the common interest of the international community. And of course, we still see Israel and Iran striking back at one another. In the meantime, Breitbart News is reporting in a press release that the Department of State issued a worldwide caution security alert, noting that the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran has led to disruptions in travel. The Department of State also warned that there was potential for demonstrations against U.S. citizens across the globe. The Department of State has advised U.S. citizens worldwide to exercise. In other news, under the guise of having the government provide oversight of homeschooling families, far-left Democrat lawmakers in New Jersey are working with powerful forces to crack down on home education, parental rights, and educational liberty. If the effort is not stopped, homeschoolers in the Garden State will soon have Big Brother watching them, literally. The most controversial legislation introduced this month requires homeschool families, both children and parents, to meet annually with government bureaucrat. It turns a presumption of innocence on its head, with the homeschoolers forced to prove to the government that everything is okay as part of a wellness check. The bill, known as Senate Bill SB 4589, is short and to the point. A child in a home education program and the child's parent or guardian shall meet annually with a person from the resident school district who has been designated by the superintendent of the school district. The designated person shall be a school counselor, school nurse, or school social worker employed by the school district. The purpose of the meeting shall be for the parent or guardian to have an opportunity to request support from the school district for the home education program, and for the person designated by the superintendent to conduct a general health and wellness check of the child. What kind of support a homeschooling parent might expect to request from the government is not made clear in the bill. But the immortal words of President Ronald Reagan, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." The other far more ominous purpose of the mandatory annual meeting is crystal clear. In short, if the bill is passed, a government bureaucrat will be in charge of assessing whether parents are doing an acceptable job of parenting, caring for, and educating their homeschooled children. Now, you can imagine what they are teaching in public schools. Will they demand that be taught also in homeschooling? Now, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but a lot of the people who homeschool their children are Christians. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. So is this a new form of persecution on those of faith? I guess time will tell. But definitely a very interesting piece here from Prophecy Recon. Prophecy Recon is also reporting about tech titans that are building the Beast framework. In a striking convergence of technology and ambition, Silicon Valley's leading visionaries Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, and others are redirecting their wealth and influence towards hard tech. AI-driven robots, autonomous drones, battlefield systems, and transportation infrastructure. This isn't just a tech upgrade, it's the transformation of society itself through machines that think and act. Projects like Tesla's upcoming robo-taxi network in Austin, Daniel X AI-driven defense startup in Europe, and AI-powered battlefield headsets reflect a growing belief that control of the physical world will soon rest in the hands of those who master artificial intelligence. These developments, once confined to the realm of science fiction, are now tangible realities, ushered in by those shaping the future of war, mobility, and surveillance. Discerning observers recognize echoes of ancient warnings. The Bible speaks of a future global system, which I talked about a lot here, but it's about deception, control, and rapid advancement that astonish the world. We see that in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 17. So as AI expands from software into the physical realm, integrating with weaponry, transportation, and even energy grids, we inch closer to a world where centralized systems can track, manage, and manipulate human behavior on an unprecedented scale. Though the innovators may be unaware, their efforts are laying technological foundations that could align with the prophetic infrastructure foretold in Scripture, a time when no one may buy or sell without a mark, and when human autonomy is eclipsed by something far more powerful and persuasive. Meanwhile, in Armenia on June 15th, 5 were injured as a damaging tornado ripped through, which caused significant destruction in the area. Severe storms leave nearly 1.2 million without power across central U.S. on June 18th. And what is happening with Mount Etna? Well, apparently it enters a new eruptive phase with lava flows and high-altitude ash emissions. An explosion occurred on June 19th, sending ash up to 19,700 feet in the air and producing lava overflows. As a result, the aviation code was raised to red. On June 20th, at least 4 elderly women perished of suspected heat stroke on June 17th. More than 60 monitoring stations recorded temperatures at 95 degrees. Over in Guangdong, historic floods affect over 300,000 people and force 70,000 to relocate. In Mexico, 2 fatalities reported following Hurricane Eric's historic landfall. Over in Nepal, major roads were blocked and dozens rescued as a monsoon slammed into the area, and this occurred on June 18th to the 20th. At least 21 have perished in the DR Congo following a coltan mine collapse. Very sad situation. A moderate eruption occurred at Mount Shinmondaig in Japan, and this is the first time it's erupted since 2018. In the meantime, Japan was also hit with a 5.9 earthquake. Over in Utah, Forsyth Fire explodes to over 15,700 acres and has destroyed 17 homes in Pine Valley, Utah. In North Dakota, a very sad situation. 3 were confirmed that have perished after a large tornado has struck Enderlin, North Dakota. But those are your headlines for today. Please do leave your comments below this video. I'd love to hear from all of you. And again, when you have a chance, come and visit us on our Rumble channel, where you will get an extended broadcast, but also come and visit us on our social media pages, as well as our website at www.cww7news.com. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, be blessed and stay safe.